This is the model that will change everything, or not. In the overview, I have adjusted a couple of pieces. So the flow is still the same. Make the mobile apps, scale them with paid traffic. Traffic comes in, 10K MRR, and then repeat that cycle to hopefully create like an empire of apps. So the extension now is that I've layered on an AI agent, which I think will make the process more efficient. It will standardize the data patterns. And if you're a media buyer, you know what I'm talking about. And it could potentially, in maybe a couple of years, turn into its own product, which I think is cool. So what I'm doing with the AI agent is I want to feed it the data that comes through from the advertising, right? So the advertising data that comes in would go to the AI agent. And this is at the moment in its basic version, something that you can do yourself. This is a Claude basically skill where I'm training it on specific rules that I wanted to follow. So for example, I have a new rule based on the original 3-day rule, which is a very famous video on this channel or on the other channel, where it goes over, how to do specific ad set budgets, etc. Now, the agent is basically being trained to how to interpret the data, how to use the data to make certain decisions. What is good, what is bad? Conversion's good, high CPC bad. Find the balance between these things. Is there reach? Is there scale? What's the frequency? All these different things. So it's basically now working on backlog data. So I'm just using old things like volume data, old Facebook ads data, old native advertising data. I still have all these data sets stored. And obviously we're talking about hundreds of millions of impressions, which is very valuable, but it's a little bit outdated. The pricing now is very different. Cost optimization, bidding models are different. So I'm really looking forward to test it with real data. In order to do that, I need to wait. So I got a call today from the DUNS company for the issuance of the number, which is needed to get the App Store developer account to publish the mobile apps. So waiting time for that, I assume 1 to 2 weeks, not ideal, but we're progressing. So this AI agent is then processing the data. And this is something that you can set up yourself as long as you know what you're doing, because you need to basically tell it how to read certain things, what to do it, and then it will basically give you, so the AI agent here will give you suggestions, or let's call it decisions, right? Because that's what you want it to be. Right now it's more like suggestions, but it will give you decisions on what to do. And then what I'm running right now is like a simulation of what actually happened. So of course I have like a whole, let's say, 60-day native advertising campaign, and I know exactly what we did and how we did it, optimizing the ads. And then I'm taking the AI agent through it. So did it make the right decision at the right moment, and what did that look like? I think that's pretty interesting, with the idea, of course, that once the mobile ads are running, it will all run on paid ads. The data comes in. Can the AI agent actually take away part of that labor on the optimization side? I don't think it can take part of the copywriting or the creative side. I see a lot of mediocre ads these days because people are relying on these AIs to be creative. I don't think that's a solution there. I think that's where the media buyer still comes in. But there's a lot of tracking tools that have these type of basic rule-based optimization. I see no reason to pay like $300 a month for something like that if I can just use my own setup, which is way more powerful. I don't have to share the data, and perhaps we can build it into something cool. So I'm experimenting with this, which is going pretty well. It's a little bit buggy at times, but I guess it just needs a lot more data. Then on the other side, I finished basically the mobile app, the onboarding. So I did that with Rourke, right? The design was a little bit of an issue. So I think at the moment, what we're looking at is, let's say, the onboarding is like maybe a 7 out of 10 at the moment. The overall design is maybe, oh, a different color there. The design is perhaps not that great. I don't know why. I've prompted it so many times, but it's like a 5.5. It's sufficient. It's nothing amazing. And then, it's with a hard paywall, basically, because we just care about conversions, right? So the idea here that I was thinking about, or at least something that I noticed, is basically the cross-sell opportunity, not necessarily upsells, but the cross-sell into, let's say, different apps and or products. Let's call it apps for now to keep it easy, where we want to build like a 10K a month single app or empire, it doesn't matter. But if you would have, let's say, a fitness application on how to get abs, then it does make sense for everybody that opted into a trial or active subscription of that product to be offered a calorie tracker, to be offered a peptides app, to be offered a supplement app, to be offered a food scanner, to be offered track your daily habits, to be offered sleep optimization, to all these different things that might be relevant for that user. And then obviously, like this game of scale, this is a CAC game, right? Cost to acquire a customer. So the cost to acquire a customer has to be less than the lifetime value of a user. And if that's the case, you're gonna print, right? It's very basic. So lifetime of a user is, let's say, 3 months at $10 a month, $30. It costs you $10 to obtain that customer. It's $20 a customer. Now scale it to the fucking moon. And you're gonna print a ton of cash, right? So that's kind of the two things that I'm working on at the moment. On the one side, we have the agent. On the other side, I'm looking at the cross-sell opportunities. Difficult to identify at the moment because I don't have the app live. I think I'll run into a lot of issues with the actual app, getting it approved first. Once it's approved, getting the ads approved, finding a flow. Fortunately, I have more than sufficient advertising budget available, so I can basically start at $100, $500 a day in spend. I'll probably take it a little bit easy to be able to document everything properly. I wouldn't want to waste no money, but let's say we can start with like $100, $200 a day. Probably I will start with Facebook ads just because it will be the easiest one for the target demographic that I'm going after to be able to convert. So at the moment it's a waiting game, but we're not sitting still. We're trying to optimize these components to be able to see what we can do with this. For the AI agent, I think it will be over time. For the cross-sell opportunities is something to already dive into at the moment. So yeah, it's very interesting. I'll keep you guys up to date. Like I said, it's a waiting game until we get to the point where we can actually run some ads.